What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Scotty by Nature TV,
Bubs to God.
and this is the first episode of Me and My Ex. And what's going on, everybody? This is the first episode of Me and My Ex, where I discuss my past relationships with the people that were actually a part of those said relationships. Now, I'm gonna let you know something. Everybody did not agree to this. Some people didn't want to be on camera. Some people didn't want to do it because they was gonna look bad.
Shouldn't have been doing shit. I'm just playing.
Some people would have done it if it wasn't for their job. They would have done it. They didn't want their likeness to be, presented because of their jobs, which I could understand. So there was some people that would have been willing to do it, but because of their jobs, they didn't want to do it. But I did talk to Brandon first because he is someone that's just like me. He's a YouTuber. He's already out there already. And if you're in the web reality world, you know that we did have a relationship. So that's already known already. So what better person to do this with first? And he might be the only one, child. Do this
Oh
with
Lord.
first, more than anything. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start with how we met. I'm gonna allow you to take the honors with that.
Okay. Oh, this was years ago. This was like years ago. I want to say maybe like what 2013, 2014, around that time.
It wasn't even then. I would say 2012.
2012. Okay. So I was 1 year shy. It was around that time, and of course, you went by your previous YouTube name, okay, Mr. Still Standing. And I remember I came across one of your videos because I watched a YouTuber that we mutually knew. You know more than me, but and I started watching your content, and I was like, oh, he's cute. And then I remember I had watched that drunken karaoke when you were singing "Boys to Men" End of the Road, and you turned to the side. And you used to wear these baggy ass like shirts and stuff or whatever.
I did back then.
Yes, but yet it was still kind of poking out the side with the bagginess. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, how are you kind of small and your shit kind of poking out like this? So I was like, oh wow. So I remember I was thinking to myself like, oh well, I don't know if he is gay because you didn't really express your sexuality at the time. You would say things like them and they, and I was like, somebody who says that they might be on the spectrum or whatever. And then I think what happened next was I did a video response to one of your videos, and then we followed each other on Facebook. And I don't know who said it first. I don't know if it was you or me that said it first as far as the attraction, but once it was shared, the other party was like, "Oh wow, I feel this same way about you." So we kind of like started flirting with each other, and then
Yeah,
it
I
kind of
think I
took off.
started flirting 1st as usual.
But I was surprised. I didn't know that you were gay. And on top of that, like if people don't objectively say they're gay, I'm not gonna assume. But I was shocked when you replied back. I'm like, okay, let's do another drunken karaoke, please.
We should, as a matter of fact, we
That's gonna be a
should
fucking mess.
we should do karaoke because we didn't really get to. We ain't there yet. We going
Yeah,
too far,
yeah,
going way too far.
yeah.
Okay, so yes, when I first saw him, I saw one of his videos. This is during my rough time where uh I was broke as hell. I was just doing videos and I wasn't getting paid for them. And I wasn't as polished as I kind of am, keyword kind of am today. So I saw him on one of his videos and he was not going by Bubs the God back then. I'm not going to say the other name,
Please no. That's
but,
my Facebook account.
but, he was on there and I was looking at one of his videos and he was talking about relationships and I was like, he's so fine. And then when I was looking at him through the screen, his chest and stuff was poking out and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like he was real
Mhm.
all built and stuff, and he was real sensitive. And during that time, I was in between relationships with someone.
Okay.
So this was like 2012, I believe. Yes, 2012. I was still
Mhm.
kind of, you know, on and off with a guy that was on the DL at the time. I was dating him in 2010, and then we broke up. After I found out he was dating a home girl of mine,
Oh
and then
Lord.
after that, I kind of was cool on him, but around that time we were still coming like going like back and forth in a sense, like it was like a back and forth
Mhm.
thing, like we'll be cool one minute, then we'll not be cool.
Right.
So meeting someone over Facebook, well, not really Facebook, over YouTube, and then taking it to Facebook was a different thing for me. I never did that. And
Mhm.
so I remember the particular YouTuber that you just mentioned. As a matter of fact, it's okay to say his name at this point. Who cares?
Okay. I just wanted
The
to respect
person.
you, but go ahead.
Oh, see,
Mhm.
this is what I be
Mhm.
talking about. He's
Mhm.
very respectful. He tries to respect my feelings. But Justin J was the person in question. He was a good friend of mine at the time, and he noticed that we were making videos
Mhm.
about each other. We had so much
Ah.
chemistry, and we were so bummed that we were so far away.
Mhm.
And during that time, like I said, I was broke as hell. I didn't have no money. So if I really wanted to have a long distance relationship with Brandon, I couldn't
Mhm.
because I didn't have the money. I didn't have the funds. I couldn't really do what I wanted to do. And I don't really think Brandon was really that, not to talk about what you had going on, but I don't know neither one of us could really do it at the time. And on top of that,
Mhm.
I had never had a long distance relationship. And every time you
Mhm.
hear about long distance, it's always negative. So me being young back then, I really didn't want to do that,
Mhm.
but it was just something about him that made me want to, but I felt
Mhm.
like I couldn't. And I remember at the time when we were friends, Justin was saying, "Y'all would make a cute couple. You should go after him." Blah blah blah. I said, "I want to, but I don't know how that's gonna happen. Like I'm not.
Mhm.
I wasn't confident that it would happen because we were long distance and we were young, like we were early 20s, like we were like
Yeah.
22, 23
Yeah. Yeah.
years old at the time. So I think he had already had a previous experience with someone that didn't live in the same state as him. I think he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. That was my first relationship, was long distance.
Yes.
Yep.
So he already had the experience, but I never had the experience. So that is the reason why we didn't do it then.
Mhm.
But it just felt like it was a itch that never got to be scratched between us
It's.
because it continued to go on. Like even
Mhm.
though we remained in a friendship per se, but we still wanted to be with each other.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, in your eyes, why would you say that we did not get in a relationship in the years of 2012
Mhm.
to 2019? I'm gonna say that.
Um. Well, I mean, the issue that you shared as far as finances is concerned, that definitely was a part of it because again, that can be very expensive going back and forth to see each other. And even though if we would have done something long distance, eventually there would have to be some sort of physical connection. And I feel like once you get that physical connection, you're going to want more of it. Um, and also at that time, I think we weren't as mature or
Hmm.
healed as we are now. You know what I mean? At that time. Um, so I think that's probably the reasons why we didn't pursue it at that time. Even though the feelings were there, again, we just didn't pursue it.
Okay, so let's
Mhm.
just say, okay, so 2012, 2019, we continue to be friends.
Mhm.
So why were you okay in your opinion? Because
Mhm.
this ain't just about me, it's about
Right.
you and I.
Us.
So why were you okay with us being friends for all of them years? Because it was years.
Mhm. I mean, you're an awesome person. You're an awesome dude. You have a very good heart, very good head on your shoulders, and even till now, even when I tell you like the way that you do your YouTube and how you share your platform with other people, like you have a very, when I say community spirit, I don't mean community spirit in the way of how other people interpret it as something bad, but community spirit in reference to like you care about people, you want people to win, you want to win together. Um, and especially in the world we live in, which is not as different back then, still to this day. You want to make sure you hold on to those people. So, it was, you a good person. And my inner circle is always small anyway. So when you have good people, make sure that you hold on to them.
So when we were still like when we were friends, well, I don't like to use the word, but we're just talking the past tense.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, we were friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I dated people. I got in relationships with people. So did you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a. The question is, did you ever feel a way when you would see or hear about me dating someone, even though we were friends at the time, but there was still feelings between us that we never really explored because of
Lord,
the
yeah.
distance. So,
Mm-hmm.
did you ever feel any way or feel a tad bit of ugh?
The old me during that time, there will be moments where I would kind of be like, oh, okay. There'll be a little slight little, I'm saying,
Jealousy?
like slight little sting, a slight little like, okay, I remember you did a live. I forgot you was in a I think you was in a hotel room or something. And it was a
Yeah, and I
nigga in
was
the background and you told him to kiss you and y'all kissed on screen. I was like,
right.
okay. But at the end of the day, like I'm still the same person. There are some things about me that are the same from the past, which is like most important above all things is your happiness. So if you are happy in those situations, that would be the most important thing. So even though it kind of stung, like, um, it was just a little sting. And like I said, most importantly, I want you to be happy
Well,
above all
from my
things.
vantage point, when you were dating people, my
Oh
jealousy
Lord.
was insane. Like I would hear you get on your videos and you would talk about somebody, or you would tell me like if we were texting each other, something like that,
Mm.
and you'll tell me that you were dating somebody, and I'd be like, oh, okay. See the thing between, see the thing,
Okay.
yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'd be like, the bitch ain't nothing like me, so I don't even know why
Like
he's
me,
doing
like
it. Like
me. Y'all
could
can't
never
do it like
appreciate like
me.
me at all. That's how I would feel. I would be
Mm-hmm.
jealous as fuck
Mm-hmm.
because even though I claim not to be jealous, but there are moments like if I really, really care or love someone and I see them doing like, I'm like, oh, okay. But it's
Mm-hmm.
not like it wasn't like you did it being malicious. We already knew that at the time we couldn't be together. So it
Right.
was like we really didn't have another choice but to date other people. But if we
Yeah.
could
Don't
do
put it on hold. Just keep going. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean at the end of the day, at the end of it all, it's like for me, I said, well, I dated people he didn't have nothing to say about it, but I don't know because he never said it to me. So I really
Mm-hmm.
can't be mad or jealous or anything like that. But I am. That's
Oh,
what
you
I would
can.
say. That's what I would
Ah,
say.
you
But I
can.
am. But I am.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go and okay. And so I would say that you were there through a lot of things with me. And what people don't really know is that you knew me before Jamar knew me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You guys were like a year shy,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because I've known Jamar for 10 years now, and I've known
Right.
you for like 11 years now.
Okay.
So it's like you and Jamar are like the people that I've known the longest in this whole YouTube space.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go into 2019. Um Late 2019,
Right. Right.
where I was just breaking up with a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was in my dark space, and I think you know what space that is, because all of that happened at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And you were there.
Right.
You were one of the people that I ran to. And it's crazy because you were one of the people that I ran to, and I'm sitting up here crying and shit over a relationship that
Mm-hmm.
was not good for me, and yet
Right.
here I am crying to the same man that I wanted for so long.
Mm.
How did that feel to you when I ran to you, when all of that happened, when I was going through all that stuff, and you still
Mm.
were there for me during all of that?
How do I feel about that? I was hurt for you because I don't like to see you hurt. I don't like to see you in any type of pain, especially if it feels like there's nothing that I can't do to help like resolve what it is that you're feeling. But I felt privileged that you still came to me. It made me feel good because that part made me feel good as far as like you trust me enough to like be emotionally available and honest with me. So I was like, okay, you know what I mean? So um I'm just glad you over that shit. No shade. Cause like you said something very important. You was crying over a nigga that was not good for you. I'd rather you do that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay, so that was November 2019. So
Mm-hmm.
we're in December of 2020.
You and this narrating got me dying. We're in December. Mm-hmm.
We're in December of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my life is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my money is a little different. Um, my housing situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
And my YouTube channel is now in a different space. At least it was
Yes.
starting to be in a different space.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the both of us was tapped to do, I don't know what came first. I think it was the come up Miami reunion. It was me, you, and T. We were
Mm-hmm.
tapped to do that reunion virtually.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that came before or after, because I remember watching a live that we did
Mm-hmm.
on my channel. You was up there with me, you was up there with Jamar, you was up there with Bundy. And you and I were flirting hard that night on that live.
Mm-hmm.
And
A
Bundy,
lot of that.
huh?
It's a lot of flirting. Go ahead.
Yes. And Bundy was like, what y'all what? You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like Bundy and Jamar was like, Jamar already knew. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Bundy didn't know, but Jamar already, of course, Jamar knew.
Mm-hmm.
So Bundy was like, if y'all don't go somewhere and get a room or something, like what blah blah blah. Like Bundy was egging the shit on, and so was Jamar. And I think after that live, you and I had a conversation. And
Backstage.
yeah, backstage, I think
Mm-hmm.
everybody was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided that we would attempt a shot at finally
Mm-hmm.
dating, regardless of it being long distance. Because by this point, I had a long distance relationship by this point. The guy
Okay.
that you saw me on camera with was
Mm-hmm.
my long distance. He was there to see me.
Oh, okay.
He was there to see me for the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a long distance relationship and I knew how to maneuver through it. And I was actually okay with long distance because I'm a distant person at heart anyway. So it didn't,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't bother me. So after that, like I want to say that live was before or after the come up. I don't
I feel like it
remember.
was after.
It was after.
I feel like it was after because yeah, I feel like it was after.
Because I think we did that live on my channel like a few days before the new year.
Yeah, yeah, because the come up was on Gemini Films, so it was
Yeah.
on his stuff. So yeah,
Mhm.
it was definitely after.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we did the come up together,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's just say we did the little year end live on my channel after
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Mm-hmm.
then after we did that, we talked and we decided that we will do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm gonna say how I felt about it, and then after I say how I feel, you're gonna say how you felt. So
Okay.
I was thoroughly excited about doing it because it was something that I wanted for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always felt like um this part I'm gonna leave towards the end because I can't say it right now. It's too early. I'm gonna wait
Mm-hmm.
towards the end
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't get to tell you this yet.
Uh-oh.
But at that time, I just felt like this was somebody that I needed. This was somebody that I wanted. He had all the attributes of a man that I desired, and he was a person that understood me regardless of my ways and imperfection. He
Mm,
still understood me and took out the time to understand me. So
mm,
I was like, and I remember telling Jamar, I feel like Brandon is the one for me. After all this time, I've been going through all this bullshit. I feel
mm,
like all these people were frogs.
mm,
So my prince been sitting on the sidelines in all this time, and now I'm about to see. Jamar was actually excited about it.
okay,
But
tomorrow.
let's get this though.
Oh.
Right before I started talking to Brandon seriously, there was another guy that I was talking to, but I stopped talking to him not too long before Brandon. And I remember talking to this guy, and Jamar was like, "Are you sure about this, Scotty? Because this is not
Mm,
good. I don't think this is a good situation." And he said that because he knew just as well as you did about my last relationship.
mm,
The guy that took my money and all that other stuff, he knew about that. Just like you were there, he
mm.
was. So I'm like, yeah. And I don't really count this guy because he only lasted for a few weeks.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's like, okay, I stopped talking to him, and then, a couple of weeks later, there was no feelings there. So it was just someone I was conversing with. So there was no feelings. Somebody I was
Mm,
trying to get to know, but it just didn't work out.
mm,
So weeks later, we get on this live. Well, weeks later, we do this come up stuff, and then after that, we do the live, and then that's how we got into it. And I just felt like this is the person that I'm supposed to be with.
mm,
Because this
mm,
was someone that I've always wanted to be with for so many years. And I always would feel like if I would have dated him back then, but something I used to feel like if I would have dated you back then, I still would be dating you now. But then
okay.
again, I don't know because we weren't mature and we wasn't completely healed from other situations yet. Because I wasn't
Mm,
healed from certain situations yet. I was still trying to heal
mm,
from certain situations, not just relationships, but personal relationships with family members. And,
yeah.
during the time that we met, I was still holding on to the things that happened with me and my dad, me and my siblings, me and
Right.
my stepfather were beefing at the time. So it was a terrible time when we did meet. So who's to say that it would have lasted? But I don't know
Mm,
because when I was talking to you, that was the main thing that made me smile. I even wrote a song about him back then. It was called Beautiful. I remember I sent it to him.
send me that
Um,
again,
I'm gonna have to send it to you again because I definitely
please.
sent it to you because you actually liked the song because it's the beat of it. You said you know what type of music I like. I love that beat.
Mm,
Like I wrote a song about Brandon called Beautiful. So all that. I think I sent it to Jamar recently because Jamar is about to go into the studio. So I
I'm
think
sure you're writing songs. Shit. Come on now,
so
songwriter.
I sent him that song. I want him to sing that song.
Okay. You and your Candy
But
Bears bag. Go ahead.
listen, I sent him all like a lot of the songs that I wrote when I was in between relationships, all those man hating anthems I wrote, and he was like, "You were
Lord,
angry." I was.
baby.
However, but however,
You
that's
killed the
all for
fuck out
me.
of Trust and Believe. Go ahead.
Anyway,
That song's dead.
um, so what were your thoughts? Now it's time for you to go into what
Mhm.
you felt in December of 2020 when we finally decided to date.
Yeah. I remember we had that conversation about dating. And I said to myself, like, I've known this individual for a very long time. And I feel like it's right, like you said, if we explore and see what it could be. Instead
Mm-hmm.
of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas and all this type of stuff, it's like, let's actually face some of the fears we might have. Let's face some of the uncertainties we might have and just see what it gives. I was
Mm-hmm.
excited. I was because it was like, okay, I'm in that, even though I'm kind of like in a more evolved state now within the past few years, but at that time, I felt like I was mentally, emotionally stable enough to actually pursue it with you. Because just like how you've been hurt, I've been hurt too, been used and abused and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, let me see what it's like with this person. We actually have history. We actually have chemistry. We known each other for a long ass time. You've told me certain things, shared certain things with me. And I was like, okay, I felt like if I didn't try to explore it, I just felt like it would be shortchanging both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, it will continue with the whole, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda thing. So like you said, now that we were in a better place, to go ahead and give it a try. So, mm-hmm.
Okay, so in December, we officially started to date.
Mm-hmm.
February was the month where it was my birthday and I bought my plane ticket to come and visit.
Mm-hmm.
April of 2021 was when I came to visit. Now, before I came to visit in April, we decided that I think you said come in April because it won't be so cold.
Yeah,
And I said, okay. And that also gave us time to talk because we talked every day,
yeah, we did.
like every day, a few times a day.
I had to get off
And
Bigo.
yeah,
They
you
be
would get
mad
off
as
ego
hell.
to talk
Why
to
you
me.
caking on the phone, bro? Who you caking with?
Right. So, but another thing about you that I respected and I don't find it, there's no one else that I can date that respects this, but you understood what I was trying to do. Like you knew that I work a job and I do YouTube, and you knew that there would be times where I couldn't really talk right then because I had
Right,
videos to do. And I
right.
think you were more understanding because you do the same thing I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the reason why you understood that. So you would text me throughout the day and we'll talk on the phone at night.
Right.
And that was our routine. And you were fine with that because you knew it wasn't because I didn't want to talk to you. It was
Mm-hmm.
because I was busy
And you have a
doing
life, and I feel like it's important. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I also feel like
yeah,
it's important, especially when you're dating or in a relationship, to give your partner space to still do their own thing. Like I didn't want to be your whole world. I just wanted to be a part of it.
right.
So yeah, we'll go ahead.
So I get to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents are there,
Mm-hmm.
which I wasn't expecting
I wasn't either.
because I never met anybody's parents that I
Mm-hmm.
dated. I never met nobody's parents. So this was something new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um only two people have met my mom before. So I don't really bring guys around my mama unless I know I really like them.
Right.
But I never met nobody's parents, and I met your sister. So I met
Mm-hmm.
your family,
My
your
family. Yep.
immediate family,
Mm-hmm.
and I was nervous as fuck.
I would be too. Shit, it's this family.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
So what what were you feeling leading up to me coming there and when I finally got there?
On your way up here, I was a little nervous because once again, it's like we spent so many years conversing with each other, far away. It's like now we're actually going to meet. It's kind of like, okay, what if I'm too short for this nigga? What if it's this? What if it's that? There's certain type of insecurities kind of started to pop up in my head. But I was like, well, I guess we finna fucking figure this shit out. I ain't gonna lie. When I first saw you, baby, when I tell you, Scotty is fine, but he is finer in person. And he had on these. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You know how
This is
I
members
am.
only. Say what you want to say.
Baby, one thing about Scotty got a wagon on him. And I remember he came out. Of course, I think he was wearing red and black because those are your favorite colors.
Mm-hmm.
And the way them damn joggers was fitting, I'm like, oh wow. And then when I hugged you and stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this is really Scotty. And then, like I said, I'm looking at your face. I'm like, this nigga is finer in person. Like the pictures and the YouTube stuff really don't do it justice or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I was still kind of nervous, but I think like once we got back to the place and we kind of chilled and unwind, it kind of, you know, it definitely changed.
To what?
You want to say that for later? Baby, I got something that I do want to say.
Say it.
Well, I'm pretty sure you got some questions that's going to lead into that.
Okay, so when when I got there, the first thing that I saw was his mom, his dad, and his sister. They all greeted me with so much love, and like it was like I met those people before in another life.
Mm-hmm.
But the person that kind of stood out to me was his dad. I always say that, and I was so looking forward to seeing him again because I wasn't there that long. Like it was pretty short. I wasn't there long enough, but um, his dad was so cool,
Yeah.
and I was just like, this is. I think this like Brandon seems a lot like his father to me. Like just being around your dad for that period of time, it felt like that's who you were like. Like you were just like your father.
I'm a mix
So
of my mom and dad, but yeah, some of the attributes of my father, yes, I do share.
yes.
Yeah.
And then your sister was like, "Hi, it's fine. Nice to finally meet you," because she knew who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we went into his room and stuff like that. And we were just, I think I took a shower and we was so happy to see each other finally.
Mm-hmm.
Because for most of the time we were sitting there, we were just looking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real.
Mm-hmm.
Then I took a shower and I came back up and do you want to finish that?
Hell yeah, Scotty is a beast. Okay, Scotty jumped on me. I'm like, oh wow, or whatever. So, and one thing that Scotty is good about, and I say this all the time, and he actually fulfills what I say. I say this a lot. As long as I have a face,
Ah!
you will always have a place to sit. And Scotty was like, "You damn right, baby, baby." When I tell you, it was a long time coming, pun intended. And I even think too, because like me and you, we talk to each other, and there'll be times we'd be like, when we see each other, we gonna, you know, you know.
Right.
So it was like family time, and I and Scotty wasn't holding back, so I'm kind of like, okay, well, I ain't finna hold back either. You know what I mean?
He
So
definitely did not.
it was a wonderful experience. I can say, Scotty is very hygienic. Okay, there wasn't no smell. It wasn't none of that, baby. Aquafina, okay, and yes, 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 it was. I better not stand up. It was good. It was good.
Great. Like,
It was bomb. It was bomb. And I
I
don't have
think,
sex like that, so yeah.
but then you started dating me, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
a very sensual person. That's what
Baby.
people don't really know about me.
Aggressively sensual. I'm just playing. I kind of like that, but go ahead.
I mean, hey, um,
Mm-hmm.
we did that
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yes.
I think that Saturday he took me out. Like I was excited because I had never been to Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, we went to downtown Detroit. We went to a 7-Eleven, and he was laughing at me because I was so excited because I'd never been to a 7-Eleven.
Your country ass. Ah.
I'm like, oh my god, I never been to no 7-Eleven.
Like
And
you ain't never had no Slurpee, nigga. You was giving Slurpees, but you ain't never have. Okay, sorry.
I'd never been to a 7-Eleven. So that was
Mm,
so exciting.
right.
Then I didn't know how close Detroit was to Canada
Yeah. Very
until I
close.
got there. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God. And he took me to like the Hitsville, Motown thing. That was exciting. He took me
Mm-hmm.
to see the Detroit Princess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now there was one thing that he did not do that I wanted to do, and that was I said, I want to see how 8 Mile look in
Why the
person.
fuck everybody want to see?
And he said, I'm not taking, we're not going over there. We're not going over there. I'm like, why not? I said, I want to see it in person. Cause I saw the movie. So I want to see it in person. He refused to take me to 8 Mile. He did not want to take me to 8 Mile at all. He did not
Mm-mm.
want to take me to 8 Mile.
Mm-mm. You want to see
He
8 Mile? Watch the movie.
he refused. Okay. Um, what's the name of that bridge? The Windsor. Is that how you pronounce it?
The
Windsor?
Windsor Bridge. I was just about to
Windsor
say that.
Bridge.
Yeah.
He took me to see that. We went out to eat that day, like,
Mm-hmm.
and we took a walk. It was a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
he took me around and stuff as much as he could because, again, it was a short time. We didn't have
Okay.
much time because my flight didn't get there until late.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get there till like 7 o'clock that Friday night.
In the
So
evening. Yeah.
all we really had was Saturday. That's all we
Mm-hmm.
really had. And then Sunday I had to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we got back home that Saturday. Um, and one thing about Brandon, and I said this to Jamar,
Mm-hmm.
is that he's very much so, he's a person that caters to you in a
Of
sense. Like, if
course.
you need something,
Of course.
he'll go do it. Like, when we got back, he was like, "Do you need anything? Are you hungry? Do you blah 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 blah?" I DoorDash something. I don't think we DoorDash anything that night. I know we did
Mm-hmm.
Friday night after we
Mm-hmm.
got done doing all that stuff.
Hell yeah, I need sustenance and food after that.
We had a lot of uh yeah.
Feast.
Huh.
Nothing. Go ahead.
We had a lot of that night,
A whole lot, a
and
lot of.
we worked up an appetite.
Amen.
Um.
Thank you, Lord. Sorry.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't mention something about that too.
I did, but I don't think you heard it. I said it fast.
You talking about the toes?
Hell yeah. Nigga just picked my foot up and just start sucking on my. I'm like, it threw me for a loop because I ain't never had that.
He was not expecting that at all.
Hell no, I wasn't expecting that.
He was not expecting it. He was not expecting it at all. At all. But anyways, I
Makes
was
me wonder what other tricks you got up your damn sleeve.
you will find out.
Lord,
So
Lord.
so that same weekend I was supposed to see my grandfather, which
Yeah.
Brandon was all for me doing, but it didn't happen.
Right.
That's another story that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Mm,
But we came back. I like I said, I don't think we ordered anything that night. We spent most of that night looking at Ricky Smiley, laughing at Juicy all fucking
Miss
night.
Juicy, baby, when I tell you he was dying, dying. Miss Juicy is hilarious.
And then, we did a whole lot of again that night,
Man,
to the point to where your sister said we was too loud. Um, yeah.
that
And
wasn't
then
my fault. What was it?
it was, I don't know, because we did a lot that night. It probably was my fault though,
Mm.
or your
Or
bed
you
was
sucking on?
something up.
No, it was you. Let's not talk about the last time you was here.
Oh, trust me, we're gonna get into that.
Oh, Brett. Oh,
We ain't there
oh,
yet. We ain't there
oh.
yet. We ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. We are not there yet. So, um,
Oh, I'm
his
sorry.
his dad took me to the airport. He he was on the back seat with me, and his dad took me to the airport,
Mhm.
and I was not ready to leave.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did not want to leave, and then my flight wound up being delayed. But Brandon didn't know it was delayed until after the fact.
You could have told me, shit. We could have took you later or something.
No, I had text you, but you didn't see it until later.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I
So
thought you was talking about before we dropped you off. But go ahead.
I didn't know it was delayed. Like, once I
Oh,
got
okay.
once I got there, it was delayed. Like, if I had known it was gonna be delayed, we never would have went to the airport right then.
Right,
We would have
right.
just did something. We could have did something quick before it was time, because the plane, I was there for another 3 hours. So we
Mm-hmm.
probably would have had time to do something before I left. And then
Mm-hmm.
I left. At that time, I was flying into New Orleans. My friend was there to pick me up, and we
Right.
came back home. I let Brandon know I was back. He told me to go to bed. We didn't even talk on the phone that night. He told me to go to bed
Mm-hmm.
and get some rest. And then, so as we continue to talk and continue to date and converse and stuff, my uncle passed, and
Unfortunately.
then he was there for me with that. And
Mm-hmm.
then over the summer, his birthday came, and I was intended on coming back to Detroit soon.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want me to be spending all my money that soon, because we wasn't like it. We were dating, but we wasn't like it wasn't deep. I guess we wasn't deep into it just yet for me to be doing all of that.
Right.
So
Right.
but I was willing, but he was looking out for me first.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was there through the family drama that started during that summer, that's still going on. And
Thank you,
in
Jesus.
August, right, I have a lot to tell you when I get back.
Jesus.
Um then in August was when we went our separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm good enough to talk about it now.
Okay.
So I will say, on my end, I wasn't ready for it to be over with at the time, because I felt like we still had a ways to go before we really
Mm-hmm.
could just do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready to keep it going because I was enjoying it and I was
Right.
really into the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that there were things that he wanted that I didn't necessarily want, but in my mind I felt as though, who knew how my mind would have been if we continued, because there was a time where I would be like, I ain't dating no man with no kids. Then here we go, I dated a man with
Right.
several men that had kids.
Right.
So who's to say that my mind wouldn't have changed?
Mm-hmm.
And I just wasn't prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want that to happen. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't ready for it to happen because I just felt like we had way more to do, way more
Yeah.
to
It was
go. 'Cause
more uncharted territory to explore.
yeah, that's how
Mm-hmm.
I felt. So I wasn't really ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hurt by that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was mad at him, like super mad at him for a while. And then
You hit it well.
uh and then we got booked to do a show called The Comment Section TV. It was like 2 weeks after we split.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Shout out to Ashley.
I was like, how the fuck am I gonna do this? And then Jamar was like, well, in the profession that we're in, we're gonna have to do stuff like that with people that we may be mad at, people that we might not like, people that we don't
Mm-hmm.
see. If we may have to do that. So
Right.
you know how to be professional, and you
Right.
don't hate him. You still got love for him, so you
Mm-hmm.
could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so I just prayed about it and prayed about it. That's why when I first got up there, I had on my shades
Yeah.
when I first got up there because I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to do it right. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so funny about it is that I mentioned that like a while, like later on down the line to Ashton, that we had just broken up at that time, and he was like, "Well, I didn't know that." I'm like, "I
Mm-hmm.
know you did because we didn't put it out there."
Right.
So I needed that time to just kind of get past that
Right.
situation because
Can I? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you can go ahead. I'm done now.
So I just want to say this though, like when that time came, when we separated, I felt bad because it was like, again, this could become something great. And like you saying it now, because I didn't know at that time, but he was like, my mind might change. But I guess where I was going was like when you're dating, and I didn't know how to date properly growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it was like
Mhm.
now this was the opportunity to like actually properly date, to ask questions, to figure out which direction we're going in. And like you said, there was something that I really wanted that at that time. I don't know if it's the same now, but at that time it was something that you couldn't see yourself doing or that you didn't want. I think you mentioned you was like, I was trying to see if you was gonna change your mind, Bubs, because you know what I'm saying. So, but because of that awareness, I was kind of like, if anything, I want to continue to be what I've always been with you, which is honest, even in the stronger capacity, like dating and possible relationship. Because it's like I didn't want to sit up here and to continue to build something if there is something that I want that the other person does not want. I just feel like it could lead to a real disaster. And I didn't want to sit up here and make you feel like you have to change things about yourself to be with me. I want you to be with me genuinely as as you are. So of course I was nervous as hell when I did that shit. I'm like, this nigga finna cuss me out. I'm about to be in no YouTube videos. Nigga about to write 5 new songs about me and shit. Just all type of stuff. And at the same time, I was really afraid of losing you as like a friend or a person in my life. You know what I mean? So I was hurt by that. And there are still times where I think about it where it's like, damn, it does hurt that we did have to separate. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'd rather be honest with you about certain things, and then you can make a decision going forward than to sit up here and do like many dudes have done to us, just string us along. So
Yeah. Um. Now that we're at this point of like the separation part, like
mm-hmm,
I was mad and
mm-hmm,
stuff, and but like I said, I just felt like he could at least gave us some more time.
mm-hmm,
Like I was like we were just getting some, we were really getting closer than ever, and I met his parents and stuff. Like I was ready to come there for holidays and shit like that. Like I was ready for you to come down here to meet
ah,
my people and stuff because I
mm-hmm,
already met yours. Like I was
mm-hmm,
already thinking about that type of stuff.
right,
Because I don't know if I got carried away or nothing, but it was just that I was in my happy space, and
right,
that was the happiest that I had ever been in a
mm-hmm,
while.
mm-hmm,
And you were the reason why I was so damn happy. So I was mad because I felt like you snatched my happiness from me.
mm-hmm.
So I'm like, ugh. But then after that happened,
Well, I want to say before that, I'm sorry for that. That was not, of course, that was not my intention. But
oh,
I appreciate you being honest with me about that, because I knew you was upset, but I didn't know the extent of it, and I didn't know that I was snatching away your happiness.
because I was happy with you.
Yeah, but I didn't know that
Like
I didn't know I was the source of that. And I guess
you
where I
were.
am in my life now is kind of like I don't want to be the source of anyone's happiness. If anything, I just want to be complimentary to you, the happiness you already have on the inside.
I don't
You
want
get
to
what I'm
say,
saying?
yeah, but I don't want to say that you were the source of it. But as far as a certain part of my life, you were
Okay,
a
okay,
source of
I
it.
got you.
Like
Okay,
my
okay.
my my personal life, you were a source of my happiness. Like because
Personal
not only
romantic source.
yes,
I got you.
like
Okay.
not only was my YouTube career growing, but I had somebody on my side that understood and was very supportive and
Mm,
encouraged me
right,
to do better and be better. And
right.
I was the same thing to you. I was encouraging you to do all the things you
Yeah,
wanted to do, the things that you needed to do with your own platform.
right,
So it was great that I had somebody that understood and was doing the same things as me. So
right.
I felt fulfilled in a way because I had
Okay.
a man that understood and did things that no other man had ever did for me.
Okay.
So that's what I
Okay.
meant by that. So,
Okay.
so I felt like, I said he could at least let me have at least a year or something.
Okay.
That's what I need. I could at least gotten a year, and if my mind didn't change or whatever, then I would understand if you wanted to separate.
Right.
But I just felt like we needed a little bit more time. That's how I
Understandable.
felt.
Okay.
So after the split, I didn't talk to Brandon for a while because I needed the space. And then we started back talking. But we wasn't talking every day, but we were back talking. We were back in a good space.
Hmm.
So, and that was what 2022. So fast forward into now
Hmm.
cuz I just saw you.
Hmm.
So, in March, I came back to Detroit. I had been planning this trip for a couple of months. I said I want to come back and I wanted to see him,
Hmm.
and he obliged. And he said to me, he asked me, he said, "Now, I just got to ask you something." And I said, "What?" He said, "So when you come back here, are we gonna?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely."
I'm just asking for clarification on certain expectations. That's
Yeah.
all.
I said, "Yes."
That's
I
all.
said, "I don't even know why you even asked me that." Like,
Well, I mean,
yes.
I don't. I like again, I ask things to be respectful because again, like I didn't know you could be in a place where it's like, okay, yeah, we cool and stuff, but it's like I don't know if I want to do shit with you. You know what I mean? And I would
Mm.
have respected it. I was just asking just to see. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so I came back to Detroit
Mm-hmm.
and I was there for a little bit longer
Mm-hmm.
than before. The only thing about this time was it was cold as
It's
fuck.
so cold in the deep.
Absolutely.
Out of
When I
earth.
got off that plane, I had to hurry up and put my bubble coat on because it was cold as fuck. Okay. So, what was in your head? How did you feel when I came back when you picked me up from the airport?
Um, again, it was good to see you. You always look good in person. You always look good, but you, like I say, look better in person. Um, I kind of feel like now that we are friends, and I think this is important even when you're dating or talking to someone, that you should be friends first. And I think the fact that we were having the physical connections and being around each other's energy and stuff like that, I think it was like I was able to kind of just relax because it was like, okay, you're coming to see me. We'd have had this situation where we separated. I don't know if any old feelings gonna come up. I don't know if it's gonna be any arguments. I don't know what's gonna happen. But when you got here and we started chilling and stuff like that, I was able to kind of relax. So it's like, okay, we're gonna be organic and be with each other. You know what I mean? Um, I didn't have any negative feelings or nothing like that towards it or whatever. I just wanted to make sure that again, I wanted to be as hospitable as I could to you. Because I was going through a little something during the time, you know what I'm saying? So, but it was still a very good experience.
What I will say is that when I got there, we didn't do much, but we did stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like I told Jamar, because he asked me how it was, and I said Brandon still has that thing with me where he caters to me if I'm around him. He went to the store for me. I told him, "You don't have to go to the store, Brandon. You don't have to." No, I'm gonna go. No, 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 no. I'm gonna go. He had went to the store already twice, and then
Mm-hmm.
I said something about something else that I had wanted or something like that. He said, "Oh no, I'll go back to the store and get it." I said, "You don't have to do that, Brandon." And he was like, "Oh, no, I got it. I'll go do it." I'm like, "What the fuck?" You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I
What
was
you
I
saying?
I wasn't expecting all of that, but I appreciated it because he was doing the same things he was doing when I was with him like that. And it felt great being in his space and all that other stuff. And we had conversations. He allowed me to do my work while I was there,
Mm-hmm.
all of that stuff. And so when I was getting ready to leave, because like I said, I stayed there longer than before. Because when I came there the first time, I came there on a Friday night and I left on a Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
This time I arrived on a Thursday night and I left on a Sunday evening.
Mm-hmm.
So we had more time this time than before. It wasn't no hit and quit this time. It was a long time. And when I when he took me to the airport, once again, I wasn't ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to spend more time with him. And he hugged me. Of course, he kissed me. And then he dropped me off and then I went into the airport and I was like, I do not want to go. I was not ready to go. Like, that's all I kept saying. And he was like, he texted me and he was like, just let me know when you get back and all this other stuff. And that's what I did. I texted him. I got back home around, I got back because what happened was I flew back on Delta
Mm-hmm.
versus Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
So when I left Detroit at 7, I got into Atlanta. That was my layover. We was there for like 40, 45 minutes. And then the next flight was back home. I ain't make it home till 11 o'clock that night. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to go right to work the very next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't ready to go. And I was telling Jamar about how good of a time that I had and stuff like that. So this is the part that I said at the beginning. I said, Jamar said, and then I said, no, I'm gonna wait till we get
Okay.
towards the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. You probably gonna be shocked when you
Oh
hear
Lord.
this.
Oh
But
Lord.
Jamar said to me one day, and it wasn't one day, it was literally maybe a few weeks ago, actually. We were talking,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it wasn't just me and him. I think Tramiel was also involved in this conversation, and I think
Mm-hmm.
Carl was too.
Mm-hmm.
Jamar said, honestly, Scotty, I believe that Brandon is your soulmate. And
I
I
can see
was
that.
like,
I can see that.
I said, you think so? And then Tramiel, you know how he is. Tramiel's like, girl, you know that that's your soulmate, girl. Like, you know that's your soulmate, girl. Like, you hopping on planes to go see him, girl. Like, that is your soulmate. And I was saying to myself, you could be right. I mean, because he go, Jamal, because you still hold the torch for him. And so I said, I won't say it's holding a torch. What I would say is I'm always open to a possibility of reuniting. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
would say.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, that's still holding the torch. And then I said, okay, if you want to call it holding the torch, then that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm if there is another time where it's a opening for that to happen again, I would definitely take it. I'm not gonna lie
Mm-hmm.
to you. I would take it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was one of the some of the best months that we had of my life. And I feel
Oh
like
wow.
you were the one guy that understood me the most, and you balanced me out, and you brought out things in me that nobody else could. I don't cry.
Mm.
And I did that in front of you. You opened me up emotionally, not just in other ways, but you opened me up emotionally. So that says something.
Right.
I think Josiah has had the same opinions. Everybody feels like that. And when
Mm-hmm.
it comes down to you and I, everybody feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it doesn't help that I'm coming back to visit.
Yeah.
So, so that doesn't help.
Ah.
So, it's yeah, that's what was said in
Mm-hmm.
regards to you. And these are people that you know for a fact that are very close to me. My
Right.
friend Rudy still adores you,
I love Rudy. She's so funny.
even though she has not met you yet. She only talked to you over the phone, but she still says you are her favorite
Oh,
boyfriend that I ever had. You are her
thank you.
favorite.
Why am I
That's
doing
what
this
she
Dracula shit? Thank you.
that's what she said.
Hmm.
Now, any thoughts on that?
Um, I didn't know. I was a little bit nervous because it was like usually when things don't work out with people or stuff like that. Usually, a lot of times there's a lot of negative um expressions that people have, especially if you get your heart broken, fuck that nigga, all that. It may have been you probably ain't telling me, but that's all right. But
Mm-mm, they ain't say that.
oh wow,
Mm-mm.
okay, good, okay. But again, I guess where I am in my life now, and it's kind of like after me and you, like I didn't date anyone else. I wasn't talking to anyone else. I think it got more so to where I was trying to focus on me and what it is that I want and trying to strengthen more so what I can bring to the table. But I feel like I'm still, like you said something in this conversation. It's kind of like, oh wow, because that wasn't said before, as far as, oh well, the possibilities, or maybe my mind may change. I don't know. But if anything, I like the fact how we are connecting with each other without having expectations. And that's something even I had to learn. Because even in my past experiences, I always had expectations about things and I would get my feelings hurt. So it's like this time I like how we're able to be with each other, just be organic. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say that the door is closed. You know what I mean? Like I said, there are certain things that I want from my partner and that I want to create within my life in reference to like romance and relationships. But if things were to shift or to change in the future, I wouldn't be against it. Because again, Scotty, you're not a bad person at all. You're a hell of a catch. You're a hell of a catch. You hold on. Excuse me. You're a hell of a catch. You have a good head on your shoulders. Good head in other places. Your energy is good. One thing that's very attractive about you that I like energetically is the fact is that you have a heart for people and you care. You don't have a lot of that. That's why I was like, as much as you feel like you want, and I get it from like past experiences, you would make a hell of a good father. I remember one time I
Why
saw
do people keep saying
I
that?
remember one time I saw you, you took a picture and you was holding like, I don't know if it was your cousin or your niece or something. I was like, yes, yes. I was like, this is the energy. Like you just have that nurturing energy as well. So it feels good, like especially like in a romantic and somewhat sexual experience, like to have that energy, reciprocated. So I'm not closing the door. The door is not closed. It's just that there are certain things that I want. Like I said, just being honest,
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree as far as what your friend said, as far as a soulmate, or another way of saying it's like your twin flame, like somebody who you can connect to and relate to. I do feel like me and you do have that soulmate twin flame energy, regardless of what that expression looks like. And I'm actually glad that you're doing this particular short series, I guess, because I think it gives people the option and the opportunity to see that even though things may have not worked out in a romantic capacity, and who's to say it may not work out in the future, but that you can still be cool and cordial with each other and still love and care for each other. You don't have to be nothing bad. Oh, nigga, fuck you. You don't have to be that. Like, you can be mature. Like, things that end don't have to end on a bad note. But the door is not closed.
I will say this though. You I think I said this to you before.
Mm-hmm.
You were the only person that I was talking about. Remember we was on the phone one time and we was talking about if we got married and stuff. Like I don't have no conversation with listen, I don't
See,
have those
first of
conversations with
all,
nobody. And that's what I'm saying. I don't have no type of conversation with people.
mm-hmm.
Like for those of you that are watching, I wanted to marry Brandon. Like that's how much I was like into him. Like I wanted to walk down the aisle with
But that's why dating is important and relationships important, because it's like that is the pre-trial before you get to what you're trying to get to. Because like once again, we've uh, it's 11 years now, but like 10 plus years of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and now we're exploring that. So it's like we got to actually face and see what it is. So even when the time came for us to separate, I was again, I was nervous, I was scared, I was kind of shocked, but at the same time, I feel like I had to tell the truth because again, we're actually in it now. We can't fantasize and imagine what it could be like we're actually in this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you say you wanted to marry me? Wow.
I definitely wanted to. I had it in my head. I knew everybody I wanted to have in my wedding. I knew that we was gonna have a section for all YouTubers on that side, all types of stuff. Like I
We're gonna
just,
have to have weed there though. It's gonna have to be some sort of weed, it's gonna have to be some sort of cannabis shit on
I
there.
mean, that is absolutely fine. Although I ain't got nothing to do with the shit, but that's absolutely
You
fine.
gonna you if we was to get married, you gonna shotgun this blunt at least at the reception.
I will
We
only
at
do.
least
I
we at
will
least gotta get a
only
picture.
do a edible
No,
or weed lemonade.
no, no. I think it would be better for you to smoke because with smoke you get high fast and you can break your shit. When you was off edibles, let's rewind. Let's talk about that night you popped the edibles. Since this is for members only, I'm gonna give y'all money worth. Like he said, we did stuff, but one thing that's it's imperative. This is part of Scotty's terms and conditions, and I thank God that I read the fine print because I agree with it.
Oh my god.
Scotty loves to have his face down and ass up, and for me to explore it head first, face first. Okay, but the night you took them edibles, I literally almost died. The way that this nigga had his legs around my neck, see how my arms is built like this? Around my neck, I couldn't breathe, but it would have been a glorious death, though. It would have
Oh
been a
my
wonderful death.
god. Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying with edibles. You don't need to be on no edibles. You need to smoke something, because the edibles just amplifies the shit in you. Lord.
Have nothing to say.
Yes. Sweet like red Kool-Aid.
Oh my God. Okay. So now that we're here at the end of this video,
Right.
for people that are watching it, what would you classify our relationship as of June the 14th, 2023? What would you classify it?
I'm going to use a term that you use.
Which is
And I don't usually do this. I don't, but because we know each other for so long, it's kind of like I feel comfortable doing that with you because I'm not a I don't have sex by choice. There has to be some sort of mental and emotional, like demisexual type of shit for me to be sexually interested and to actually do it. But I'll use the term you said, we're still friends, but we got some benefits on the side. You know
well,
what I'm
if
saying?
so, since you don't do that normally, what makes me different?
Again, I've known you for a long time. I feel comfortable with you. And if I am going to do something, I'd rather do something with someone that I know for a long time that I'm comfortable with and that we've already had a sexual experience with, as opposed to doing new shit. Because like even with the new shit, it's kind of like, how do you even do this? You know what I mean? It's like, how do
Mhm.
you? In order for me to have sex, there has to be some sort of mental or emotional thing there. And again, knowing you for 11 years, that was already established there. So it just made it easier. So, what would you classify it as? Let me ask you a
The
question. Since
same
the
damn
last question,
thing. The
okay,
same
okay.
damn
I thought you were gonna
thing.
give a politically correct answer, another way to say it. So, not you laugh, baby. My neck still hurt thinking about that shit.
I guess no edibles for me when I come back.
Oh no, you gonna get some medals.
Wait,
I
okay.
I already
Huh?
told you that would be a glorious death. I don't mind dying in that way. That's a beautiful way to die. How you die? How he died on top of me? Let me stop.
Oh my
This is not the color
God.
purple.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting this video to be an hour.
You got to
But
give the people what they want now.
but this was a great conversation. I think that
Yes.
there were things in this conversation that was revealed that you had no idea about. You didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that I felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um and all that stuff. So yes, thank you for doing this with me, soulmate.
No problem, twin flame. And no, and for real, I am very proud of you. Like again, like I said, your platform is growing. You're getting more hyper visibility. You manifesting different opportunities and stuff like that. And who knows? Maybe the universe had us separate so we can strengthen ourselves more, so that possibly in the future, if we were to come back into date, we will be a better version of ourselves. And I'm trying to be like Anita Baker. I'm trying to give the best that I got. I put everything on the wedding ring. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. So but thank you for the opportunity. And I hope that I don't get chewed out by your members only. But if I do, that's okay.
I don't think you will.
Baby, if they hurt, if you hurt Scotty, baby, they like Taylor Swift
I
fans.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. But once again, thank you once again for doing this. Like I said, you might be the only one that do it. But thank you for doing this.
No problem.
I appreciate it. And this was fun. And this, once again, you guys, this was me and my ex, Brandon, honey. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.